Welcome back to Global Village. I'm Buddy Kunana. Tonight's topic is UK-Philippines Educational Cooperation. Now, folks, it's been a very fun program so far. We've had the head, the country manager, country director of British Council. We've had officials from Ateneo and Miriam talking about this really very good and very substantial cooperation between the United Kingdom and the Philippines in the area of graduate programs, education programs. And now we have, back with us is Marky, Executive Director of Commissioner in Higher Education, and joining him is Dr. Jay Sabido, and he's the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer of StratPoint Technologies Incorporated. Mark, welcome back to Global Village. And of course, Jay, nice to have you on the show.
Glad to be here, buddy.
Yeah, let's have let's talk about you first, Jay. Tell us a bit about your background and what is StratPoint Technologies Incorporated.
StratPoint Technologies works on enabling enterprises to undergo what we call digital transformation. With a lot of enterprises right now going digital, there's been a lot of talk about the use of mobile applications, development, and having presence in the web. So we actually enable companies, both here and abroad, to actually have that digital presence and digitally transform themselves. Teresa was talking about data science. And it's a very exciting field.
Yes.
And that's some of the things that we actually do. We do mobile, cloud. You've heard a lot about cloud, data science, analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So that's what we actually do to help enterprises.
Nice field, huh? Very exciting stuff,
yes,
right?
Is,
I mean, we are on the cusp, really, of everyone going into this. The name of the game is really going digital in all fields.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're right. It really cuts across different fields, and there's been a lot of developments, and the pace has been enormously fast. And
how long have you been involved in this in this business, in this area of expertise?
Probably close to 10 years already. I was actually started out as a hardware person, basically doing R&D in hardware. And then slowly we saw a lot of things. There was a lot of what we call software-defined radios because I was in the wireless space and the optical communication space. So there was really a lot of software, and it became more and more prevalent in a lot of these different things in communication systems. And it was pretty exciting. And there's a lot of developments very fast, something that I think the Philippines could really excel on. And that's why I'm trying to help out, develop the R&D culture here in the Philippines. That's been my passion. I've been with government, with the Department of Science and Technology, running the R&D organization there. Also headed the National Computer Center, and then I've been with various industries, which now became the DICT, our Department of ICT.
Very good. Now, Mark, I noticed that talking to Teresa and Ed earlier, that and also you in our first segment with Nick, that a lot of these collaborations you're putting together have a lot to do with innovation, with putting in creativity and all that, and you know, like in your case, the whole jump to digital and just thinking outside the box. Is this intentional, really? I mean, on the part of CHED to go through this this innovation track?
I think for us, it's really putting our faculty members in our schools at the frontiers of their disciplines and of knowledge in general. You can be working in agriculture, but what is the frontier of the agriculture area? What are we missing, or where are we not yet in terms of disaster risk reduction? What else do we need to learn about traffic? So all of these different things, whether it be digital, at least in terms of how it is or what it is, but the frontiers of that discipline. What are the questions that we should be asking now that we have not asked yet? Is where we are pushing our faculty members.
And really, it's about how do you develop something? It's about being innovative, right?
Yes,
thinking outside the box.
Definitely, which is the demand of the 21st century as well. It's no longer about information because everything else you can Google. It's about having the competencies to solve problems that is right in front of you using what you have.
Very good, very good. Now, Jay, on your end, because we talked about the Newton Fund program, which is it's a fund, it's a UK government fund.
Yes, but also with counterpart funding from the Philippines.
With counterpart from the Philippines, and which goes to funding projects, research projects, and things like that, no?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Newton Agham Fund actually funds. It's really for social and economic development. One of the main criteria, because I've been a member of the review panel for the different proposals, it covers research grants, PhD scholarships, institutional links, research programs, even workshops wherein experts from the UK and the Philippines actually collaborate and talk about different topics, hold workshops here in the Philippines, open it up. I actually attended one on health run by the Ateneo School of Public Health and Medicine. So the Newton Fund looks at different fields from health. I think it was also discussed earlier by Mark
Yes.
and by Nick, and maybe by Teresa and Ed as well. Health, agriculture, or agri-tech, climate change, energy security, um, and also food security, and then digital innovation and creativity, also what Teresa and Ed talked about. So it really tries to develop technologies such that they would be relevant from both an economic and social perspective for the countries of interest, like for example the Philippines, and something that would be relevant 3 to 15 years from now.
Okay.
So it's very focused, and there could be a lot of exciting fields, but if it's not, if it doesn't have that economic and social relevance, it's separate. There's hopefully a different fund for that. But the Newton Fund really is laser focused on those fields for economic and social development.
Have there been tangible results from, I mean, if you could cite some products or some results of this, of the Newton Fund program and specific projects, perhaps?
There's been a lot of work on agriculture,
Yeah.
and the effects of climate change and disaster risk reduction mitigation. There's also been research on wind energy, for example, and trying to see how we could actually harness it, not only from a big scale perspective, but also the micro and even the nano wind turbines. That's one of the exciting research topics that the Newton Fund is actually helping. But it's not only that, but we just went through some proposals last week, and since it hasn't been announced yet, but I probably can't talk much about it. But there's been a lot in terms of even social relevance.
Yeah.
How certain communities are affected, for example, by disaster. How certain communities are affected by the changes in the environment, by climate change, and it really tries to spread, so to speak, spread the love around, not only centered in Metro Manila, but in other areas as well. And I think those are the type of programs. Health actually is one big emphasis, looking at infectious diseases, lifestyle type diseases, and those are the type of things that I think have made significant impact already, because we've had some PhD candidates doing their PhD work there, plus at the same time workshops with some hospitals already, and with some schools here in the Philippines.
Mark, who can avail of the Newton Fund? Which groups, which categories would these fall
Well,
under?
these are universities,
Yeah.
but mostly because of the level of research that they will engage in, and especially with a foreign partner, it is those with a bit of readiness. So
Bit of
these are
readiness, okay.
a bit very mature universities that have expertise or at least a track record in research.
Yes.
Yes.
So they have to apply for this?
They apply for it, yes.
With who?
Very
With-
competitive process.
Oh, really? Okay.
We jointly launch it and call for applications. British Council accepts all the applications, and then we jointly vet and then approve from both sides.
How many participants, of this program
I
a
think
year do?
We have a lot of applications,
Yes.
but annually it depends on budget. We have about 5, I think, usually five grantees per year.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
How extensive really are the scope of these projects? When you say you have 5 grantees,
Yes, 5 grantees. For example, just to add to the
Yes.
examples, we have one ongoing study, although we haven't really felt its impact yet because it's still ongoing. A study on traffic between
Oh.
De La Salle University and
prioritize
Oxford,
that, please.
Oxford University. And
Yes,
University
no,
College
very
London.
timely, 100%.
There's also another study on bringing electricity to isolated rural areas. This is University of San Carlos with University of Southampton. There's also a study on tuberculosis being done by UP Manila with the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So very exciting
Yeah,
areas, cutting edge,
very.
and highly relevant. And I think that's what the importance is for us. It is something that gives our faculty members in the Philippines the chance to do research, but grounded in realities of the Philippines, but leveraging and in partnership with the expertise of their UK counterparts.
Can these projects, specific projects, somehow segue into actual transnational education
It
programs?
could. It's
It
actually a good start for
Yep.
it, as we've seen recently. For example, a partnership studying a solution for example, tuberculosis
Definitely.
could lead towards a joint program in a public health program, or yeah, all of these different things.
And as you said, you already have that partnership through this research project with the
Yes,
two universities.
yes.
So the basis there already for
The basis is
cooperation. They know
there.
each other,
Yes,
right?
yes. And for in our experience, at least with higher education institutions, it's that personal connection that really matters and makes the difference. So once you make that personal connection, once you feel the each other's working styles and
Yes.
understand each other and appreciate each other's work, then there's really nothing stopping them from blossoming that relationship into more mature, expanding it towards student mobility, student exchange, articulation, faculty visits, training. Everything is on the table.
As Teresa said, blossoming into a marriage with the transnational education
yes,
partnership, no?
Yes, yes. That is our hope, I think, especially for these universities that are excellent universities, both from the UK and Philippine side.
Okay, let's say a university here wants to avail of this. And how does that university identify a partner in the UK? And do you guys, CHED, have anything to do with that? Do you approve it? Do they have to get your approval?
Well, we are part of the process. Of
Alright.
course, it is good if they already have initial links, because this is faculty to faculty who know each other in terms of disciplinal expertise. For example, I'm an expert in traffic. I look for a university with expertise in traffic similar to the problems of the Philippines. Other than that, CHED and the British Council and Newton Fund is part of the process to making sure that they have the right fit in terms of institutions. Obviously, sometimes we can be constrained to the universities that we know,
Sure.
Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, but there are so many more very good universities in the UK that might have the better expertise or knowledge in the specific problem that a specific university in the Philippines wants to tackle, and that's where we come in, helping make sure that they're making the right choices in terms of partnerships.
And of course, the British Council is there to help, and it's really a partnership in a
Yes.
marketing and a matchmaking
Yes.
collaboration
Yes,
with the British Council.
yes. That is the work. That is the work. I think the work of CHED and the British Council is to facilitate that our universities, both from the side of the UK and for us here in the Philippines, for Philippine universities, that they succeed, that they are able to do what they need to do and do it well for our students, because they are the ones catering to our students.
Yes. Well, you, Jane, this in the realm of research, very exciting times. Now, when you have all
Yes, it
these
is, yeah.
these collaborations and these platforms that CHED, British Council platforms and tools really to bring people together. Now, in terms of research, what has been? I mean, what is your feeling now with just this dynamic partnership that's being created?
It's actually very exciting. As mentioned by Mark in the first segment, this is something very unique because when I was an aspiring grad student, it was very difficult to do the matchmaking and to actually look for a university. Now with what's being done in the Newton Camp program here in the Philippines, CHED, as mentioned by Mark, and the British Council actually do the matchmaking, and we see that in the proposals. One of the criteria for evaluation is the fact that, okay, are both researchers actually at the top of their field? And the other one is sustainability. So it's really part of the criteria for us to actually evaluate. It could be a very good research topic. It could be something that could be economically and socially viable and important in the next 3 to 15 years. But if the experts aren't experts in the field, or if it's not sustainable, as what you were talking about earlier with Mark, so it's part of the evaluation process. So it's actually very exciting. I've been very passionate about R&D and development of research and development here in the Philippines, and that's why I'm glad to help the British Council and CHED and DOST to actually roll out and help in whatever way I can to be and be part of this program.
Bravo, bravo. Exciting times for you, gentlemen. Now, unfortunately, we come to the end of the show. It goes by very fast. Last words, perhaps let's start with you, Jay.
I think from an industry perspective, I think we're very excited about it. There's always been a clamor, and CHED, DOST know about this. There's always been a clamor for graduate students and graduates of advanced degrees, not only for universities as inputs to the universities, but for industry as well. As you mentioned, these are exciting times. The rate of pace of technology is so fast that companies here in the Philippines are actually competing with companies outside of the Philippines. And we're seeing that in all the different industries. And to be able to compete, one advantage is technology. And this really helps the industry a lot.
You guys are definitely cutting edge. Mark?
Well, I think as a closing statement, my focus will be on research and why it's so important for our universities. As students, and we all went to college, your experience would usually teaching, sitting down in a classroom, listening to your professor. But really, research is a critical part of universities because it's not supposed to be like basic ed where you have a textbook and you just learn the knowledge that's there, what's written in the book. Usually, you have the best professors if they are practitioners, if they are doing research, if they are engaged in the field, if they are grounded but into practice, not just all in theory,
Sure,
and that they
yes.
are locally relevant. And when a professor brings that into the classroom, brings the learnings into the classroom, then it's exciting. It's actually
Absolutely.
something that fuels the mind and inspires you to do very well in your discipline and to pursue further learning, which is what CHED is all about.
Very good, bravo. I mean, I wish my professors were all like that when I was in school, but very exciting times. And I'm so happy that you guys are involved in this field. And, you know, the benefits are, you know, our students, our educational institutions, and it's really a win-win for everyone. And putting really, you know, as you said, you know, higher education opportunities in the UK in the reach of Filipinos. And, you know, this is how you develop, you know, our academe and our human resources. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
guys,
Thank you.
good job. Keep up the good work. And I'll see you again on the show. And you have finally when we roll out our first transnational education
Yes,
programs
definitely.
in March 2018. Huh?
Okay.
Thank
See
you,
you then.
guys. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
I hope you all enjoyed our show tonight on United Kingdom Philippines Educational Cooperation. Join us again next week here in Global Village and let us take you around the world. Till then, you all have a good evening.